That's so cool.
Oh my god.
It's supposed to be frozen when you. I'm kind of impressed you're able to assemble it when everything was goopy, Giselle.
Hello everyone, welcome. Today I'm going to make a macaron cake from this recipe book, but I noticed this cake has a very big scale and it looks professional. Because of that, I'm going to change it, and this cake has a macaron shell, raspberry insert, and diplomat cream, and some fresh raspberry. And let's go started with this. But before that, make sure that you subscribe to my channel, and if you're interested in this book, here's the book that I got it from the library. I'll be posting it online, and let's go started. Let's start by shifting the almond flour and powdered sugar. These dry ingredients are already put in a blender, and make sure that they are finer when you add them and scale them up. And this process will improve your macaronage by going to shift it twice, though it's optional, but I highly recommend it to shift this dry ingredients twice ahead before you start the macaronage. So since the recipe is calling for Italian meringue, I'm going to use Swiss meringue, and this would be a lot easier especially when you are beginner. I highly recommend it by adding about a third cup of sugar to the egg white. I use 2 egg whites with this. If you see the egg yolks in there, I'll be using that later for the diplomat cream, but I'm going to keep that. And I am going to add some meringue powder. I highly recommend getting this meringue powder from Hobby Lobby, or I don't know where else you can get it. Maybe you can get it online, but this process will help my Swiss meringue. And then put in a double boiler. Make sure the sugar will be melted to the egg white before you transferring it to the stand mixer. And go ahead, put in the stand mixer. I just got this new stand mixer. I know I was hoping for the last video, but I'm going to start with a slower speed on the mixer, and make sure I scrape all the egg whites through it so I can use all the ingredients. And now I gradually putting in a faster speed until the meringue would turn into like marshmallowy texture. Now the meringue should be ready. They should be soft but stiff, but also you can put it upside down when it's ready, when it doesn't fall. And after that, I am going to put the excess meringue to the bowl before adding my dry ingredients. I'm just only adding half of it so that I can mix it well. And I'm going to put some flavoring strawberry. This flavoring would give another taste to my macaron cake, and adding some red coloring. I use the crimson from the Wilson. This food coloring will give that nice red color that is perfect for the raspberry. And your meringue is ready, or macaronage, when you can form a figure 8, and once it's ready, you can put in a piping bag before adding it to your silicone mat. Before putting the silicone mat, I also draw a circle of the cake that I want it to look like, and piping all the macarons around it so I can make sure the shape will look exactly what I wanted. And now, if you have an excess batter from the macaronage, don't feel free to make yourself some macarons before you give it to your friends. And you do a little bit daba and dry it out until the macaronage is dry enough, and put it in the oven for 300 degrees Fahrenheit for 25 minutes, but that depends on your oven. Now this macaron is ready. We are going to move to diplomat cream by boiling some milk into the stove with a pot and with some half a tablespoon of vanilla extract, and adding 2 egg yolks from the eggs that I use for the macarons, and add the sugar for it. And also make sure your gelatin leaves are already soaked in water to hydrate it. By mixing the egg yolks and the dry ingredients, you want to make that a nice paste to it before tempering it with the milk. So by tempering it, you can safely say that you can make a custard with it. This will avoid the lumps for your custard, and because we are basically making custard for the filling. And now I'm putting the rest of the ingredients back to the pot, and I'm going to start boiling this egg custard to the stove, and gradually until the cream is start thickening. And feel free to remove it in the heat just in case the heat goes so fast. And now after remove it to the heat, I will be adding about 2 tablespoons of butter. Since the ingredients, if you look at the ingredients from the book, if you have it, it has a really big recipe, but I scale it down through my website, so check it out. And I also add the gelatin leaf, and I'm going to whisk the heavy cream first before I combine the ingredients. Make sure that it's soft but not too stiff, and adding about half of my custard to just make sure that they are they're not too warm for the cream. And now when the cream is combined with the custard, I am going to strain it just in case to make it more nice and soft. We want the texture to be nice and no lumps in our mousse cake, right? So let's strain it, but this is optional for you if you want, but I highly recommend this. And now we're going to put this cream. When you're done, I'm gonna put this cream in a ring. I use a cookie cutter for it, and I put a plastic around it, both sides. I'm gonna have some for my cream, and for my raspberry insert, I'm putting in a plastic in both rings to make sure that the cream doesn't escape. And now I'm going to add the first layer and do the same with the raspberry insert. If you notice, they both require about 2 eggs, but with raspberry insert you need additional egg with egg whites in it. And temper it again with your boiling piping hot raspberry puree. Make sure the yolk it doesn't scramble while you're doing this process. And after that, we are doing the same thing as diplomat cream by just like tempering it and boiling it a bit and make it thicker, and adding the butter, and doing the same thing with the gelatin. And I'm going to add another strawberry flavoring to give that additional taste. So I'm transferring it to the filling. And the mistake I only made is that I didn't have much time to make it cooler. But also, if you have a leftover filling, feel free to put them in your jar to make a mousse cake. So yes, I put it in the fridge, but actually the recipe recommends it to put it in the freezer. And now my fillings are ready, and I have my macaron cake. I have all the component of the filling and the raspberry, and make sure that they are fitted together. And now this is the most crucial part, which is putting in it together, especially the filling is so big, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to remove the ring and the plastic wrap. And now that I'm going to try to remove the plastic wrap, until I realize I could just move the ring first before the wrap. Yeah, how great is that? And this is what happens if you don't put the filling in the freezer. Like the filling is too soft, but we can always make it smoother by just getting a spatula and then just like push them and put all the fillings together, just make it more pretty, make it demure, I guess. What's that kids saying these days, and add all the raspberry around the filling to make it more pretty. We always want our food to be pretty enough. And if you have a leftover raspberry, you can also put some in your raspberry inserts to give that nice texture with it. And we will finish putting raspberry around it until it covers all the filling. And don't worry, this cream is not soft, but since I made a mistake of not putting in a freezer, I'm going to finish this macaron cake and I'm going to put them away, since usually we make it stand, but this time I'm gonna put it in a plate and try to wrap it with a plastic wrap and voila, this is going to be ready to the freezer for overnight, and so that you can cut it by the next day. But suddenly I'm not gonna try it because it's gonna be for my neighbor. It's her birthday and I know how much she loves macarons, so that's why I made this recipe. And if you want to check it online, you go ahead. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for coming to watch my video, and I hope that you are enjoying this video. If you make sure that you subscribe and click the like button for it, and if you want to check it out the recipe, go ahead. You can check out my website, and I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you very much.